Jade Stevens, and I'm a jaded marketer. I love what I do. I love marketing. I love coming up with creative campaigns and putting them into action. At the same time, I'm Mugatu from Zoolander. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. I don't understand what's going on at times. I don't understand where our KPIs came from. I don't understand why we're pausing all of our campaigns because the sales director has a quote-unquote really good idea for marketing. I don't understand why the CEO asked our CMO to jump and they responded with, "How high?" instead of, "Why?" Marketing sucks sometimes. We have no budget, we get into trouble with legal, sales hates us but needs us but takes the credit for everything. If sales are down, it's marketing's fault. If sales are up, it's sales' win. Marketing is the first department to get axed during layoffs. And yet, we do it, because it can be a great industry. When it's good, it's good. But a lot of that depends on where you work. Unfortunately for me, I'm apparently cursed as I found myself doing this job that I enjoy at horrible companies or under managers that crawled up straight from the depths of Hades. I can't be the only one struggling. I can't be the only one who wants to scream out, "Nobody cares!" during company all hands, or when the C-suite pats themselves on the backs for a profitable quarter while forgetting to talk about the mass layoff they just did. I'm exhausted. Honestly, I'm just jaded at this point. I'm not equipped to play the political games and tell a director who doesn't know their ass from their elbow that they're an amazing leader and thank you so much for dumping this highly unorganized product launch on our laps 5 days before it's supposed to go live and we have no resources, budget, or messaging. Great. This is not a podcast filled with toxic positivity. Sometimes things just suck and we need to talk about it and hopefully laugh along the way and keep seeking that light at the end of the tunnel. This podcast is a collection of stories from my tenure as a marketer or things I've noticed about the state of our industry. Some will be funny, some will be rage-inducing, and some will hopefully resonate. I wanted to share my experiences for those that feel like they're missing something and wondering if every meeting is just a joke. For those that don't buy into some of the corporate bullshit and just want to punch some colleagues in the throat. For those that want to just do their job, do it well, and enjoy it along the way, even if they're a bit jaded at this point. Nobody cares. If I took a drink every time I thought, "Nobody cares," during a meeting, I'd have died back in 2016. I do not care that the COO took a 5-week vacation so his kids could see all the national parks in California. I don't care that the CTO used to work at Salesforce and sold his soul to the devil so he could land high-profile jobs and feel important while doing fuck all to fix the tech problems at the company. I don't care that the CFO simply must do yoga every day and thinks anyone who doesn't is a simpleton who doesn't understand the meaning of life. I did actually care when a CPO shared that they had no real experience in the field and spent years doing something else, but decided to change career tracks and instead of working their way up, just found a business where they knew people who would let them slide right into a leadership role. But they also didn't like the leadership role because they had to deal with our complaining. Well, maybe if the company was running well and wasn't a chaotic nightmare wasteland filled with broken promises and layoffs, we wouldn't have as much to complain about. Think about that, CPO? Serious question. Unless you're trying to become a C-suite person yourself someday, do you really care about these little fireside chats with leadership? Are they inspiring? I've worked under leaders that I would follow through the gates of hell because I trusted them to lead the way and overcome any hellish obstacle. Then there are other leaders who I'm pretty sure Satan himself would pretend he wasn't home just so he wouldn't have to deal with them himself. But it feels like a lot of leaders these days just want to be important. They want to be known. They want to be celebrated and seen as inspirational. But the only thing I'm inspired to do is never become them and document the stupid things that come out of their mouths. Because nobody cares. I don't care that you finally read Shoe Dog or Atomic Habits and now your life is completely changed and perfect. I don't care that you went on an executive leadership retreat in Greece for 2 weeks where it seems the only thing you learned is that you need a higher SPF sunscreen. Welcome back, Leatherface. Nobody cares because most often it's just meaningless words. The CEOs, COOs, and CFOs of the world believe their own hype and bullshit, but they never follow it up with action. People don't care about what you say. They care about what you do and how what you do impacts them. People care that they have a stable job, that they get some satisfaction out of their work, and that they'll be able to pay their bills. The unfortunate thing is these soulless monsters tend to claw their way up into positions of power. How fun for the rest of us that have to work under these megalomaniacs. I may be a jaded marketer, but I am not a hopeless marketer. I have hope that leaders can change. We can demand more from our leaders. Here are some traits that good leaders and managers possess, so you can learn how to avoid the jerks who don't know their asses from their elbows. They share wins. Good leaders don't talk about themselves. They talk about the people doing the work. They're not insecure. They don't think they can take credit simply because they approved a project and did 1% of the work. They take the time to congratulate everyone involved in a successful launch and thank them for their contribution. Basically, they're a cheerleader and it feels genuine. They never act like a credit thief and are the first to say it was all a team effort, even if it was a case of them doing 99% of the work. They actually know what their team does. A good leader knows what their team does day in and day out and speaks the language. They understand what metrics are important to their team and what they mean. They understand what tools or resources the team needs to be successful. And they understand how their team's work impacts the business. And most importantly, they check in with their team to make sure they have what they need to do their jobs. They have the right tools, training, and support. Bonus points for leaders that reach out to ICs, know their names, and treat them like equals. I have met a few of these leaders. They're not mythical creatures. They actually do exist. They empower their team. Good leaders get the fuck out of the way. They can step in and guide or provide support, but they know their team can handle the work. They want to let their employees do what they love and do it well. They also empower their team by kicking cooks out of the kitchen. No, Susan, your input is not required for this launch. No, Brian, we don't need Sam, Lucy, and Desiree from your team to also review and nitpick the fact that we chose the word improve instead of boost in this sentence. Hey, Bob, we see you flagged this data point and are wondering if it's correct, and yet you're the one who gave it to us. You're right, Justin. We did just start working on this without your input, as you were supposed to have your part done 3 weeks ago. Thanks for finally catching up. All of you, your contradictory and never-ending feedback is not needed or wanted. Thank you. Goodbye. A good leader empowers their team to take risks. They are the living embodiment of that inspirational quote by Aaron Hansen. And you ask, what if I fall? Oh, but my darling, what if you fly? They'll support their team through the ups and downs and are excited about the unknown. It might not work, but what if it does? And they're enthusiastic about finding out and will weather the storm if it doesn't. A lot of this boils down to good managers do not micromanage their teams. No one likes to be micromanaged, just as no leader should enjoy micromanaging. To bring it full circle, this is something I actually do care about. I would like to see the C-suite team care about it too. Getting rid of the micromanagers, the toxic managers, the control freaks, the bullying managers, the managers who don't fully know what they're doing, so they lash out and take out their frustrations and insecurities on new employees. Because you should care, leadership. You should care that these managers are tanking morale, impeding employees' abilities to grow as professionals, and silencing imagination and innovation. Managers should have a team that's engaged and productive and happy. These are the teams that do great work, that make an organization successful. By caring about these aspects, you'll naturally create a brand that people are talking about. You'll actually become that leader you so desperately want people to see you as. My fellow jaded marketers, if you find a manager who treats you with respect, values the work you do, and consistently praises you publicly, you hold on to that manager like it's a roll of toilet paper during the pandemic. And if your manager isn't that person, and you have the means to, go looking for one that is. Life is too short to be working for someone who makes your life miserable. It's okay to be jaded and not buy into the corporate crap, but do not let yourself become powerless or hopeless. To become hopeless or hateful is a win for those corporate asshats and a loss for you. Do not lose yourself. There is better leadership out there. Toodaloo, my fellow jaded marketers.